Bush family, I don't know what their real last name is. I forgot what the.
Was it Harriman, tied to Harriman? Or?
It is tied to the Harrimans. So that's another great thread because so Pamela Harriman, who was very close to Winston Churchill and married his son, it really seems like she was because they were helping the Soviet, like they were basically running the Cold War for this hidden organization that is in the document Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars. Mm-hmm. This the Gotha line of this German blood, who I think is where the Bush family comes out of that line. And the Harrimans were really basically creating the whole theater so that the Cold War would exist. And Pamela Harriman is some connection to Bill Clinton. And I don't know, I'm not sure. Some say that's his real mom. There's all kinds of crazy stuff. But not when I say crazy, as a reality, not as a fiction. But hard to know what the reality is. But Pamela Harriman was the head of the DNC when Bill Clinton was nominated to become president of the United States. And that was a deal pre-cut with George Bush because that it's in Sean Atwood's book about the drug wars, because Bill Clinton was recruited by the Bushes and the CIA so that Arkansas would be like this theater of operations to bring all these drugs in to the U.S.
Yeah. And American made that movie.
Yeah, exactly, which is what that book was based on. Yeah. So what the movie is based on. So, these things are so deep and they really go back to the whole Kennedy era because the CIA, remember, was less than 10 years old when Kennedy became president,
Yeah.
So
I was going to say, before we stop, I wanted to mention I would be doing a disservice if I didn't mention Jim Marrs, who was he was the one that started the whole investigation of JFK assassination from the beginning after it happened. He's from Texas. That book he wrote, Crossfire or something, was what Oliver Stone based his movie on, or one of the biggest references, right? Yeah. So Jim Marrs is the one big in the disclosure movement. He has always been there. I have his book, Rule by Secrecy. So he goes deep into those secret organizations and all the money that's mixed in and everything else. But I wanted to mention him. And I know we were talking before we started, this ties into, the NASA, Nazis, the Black magicians, Scientology, all these Walt Disney.
Exactly. Yeah. Hold on for just a second. I have to grab one.
Yeah, I know the one video we've found of our grandfather, he does talk about Jim Marrs and references his material,
Yeah,
saying that basically it's the real deal. Yeah.
Exactly. He actually he taught at the University of Texas the whole JFK assassination for like 30 years. That's a class that he taught.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I think it's so if we get back into that whole era pre-JFK and the Operation Paperclip. So what we were talking about before was Operation Paperclip. The lawyer who was in charge of recruiting and identifying the Nazi doctors was Richard Nixon,
right?
Who was the vice president, Eisenhower's vice president. Who that's like he's just we just are hidden from view, but apparently the Nixon presidency is full of things that we don't know about. And one of which is that I'm beginning to suspect is true. I'm trying to remember where I've found this research, but I've had a couple of different people who think the same thing, is that the Nixon was also like Kennedy beginning to wake up and wanted to share with the public what was really going on to some degree, and was ousted by the CIA with that whole Watergate was a deliberate CIA operation. So, it begins to make more and more sense when you look at what was going on during Nixon's presidency. But, basically one thing we are sure of is, like, if you would go back to Woodrow Wilson, let's just say Woodrow Wilson for the sake, or the Roosevelts or whatever.
When the Federal Reserve was
right, exactly. Nothing since that point it's all been theatrical, and I'm sure before that too, but it's very provable in terms of what we can research on our own that some other entity has been running the U.S. for a long, long time.
I think the best recent book that came out was Brian Olson in Beyond Esoteric. I'd recommend to anybody that wants to know how all the dots are connected from the last 100 years of
Yeah, I'll have to read that.
Yeah, ties back to the Roman Catholic, the Church, the Vatican. You know, the three powers, right? There's the financial comes out of England. You know, the military comes out of the U.S. and the religion comes out of Italy. All three, the triad of power, basically. You know.
Yeah.
And that's referenced actually in the Wingmakers a bit from the Neruda interviews too. So it's so funny. All of these things, even JFK is such a pivotal, like a dot on the board, and then all these pieces that you can find like a spider web connecting it. It's crazy.
It's quite amazing. I mean, he's such a seminal figure, and we also don't know a lot about him really, like, because if you do the research and you really see how much distortion has gone into creating this myth about him, you begin to question, what was it that he really wanted to do? Who was he? What was he really like? You know, a lot of people who knew him died after he died.
What's that?
A lot of people who knew Kennedy died after he died in very weird ways. And
well, a lot of people
really were trying to cover up stuff.
Yeah, and also the people that were going to testify about what happened, what they knew about when it happened, the assassination, how did they mysteriously died, car crashes, suicides. Like, it's almost like the whole, like, now if a modern version of that is the Clinton aspect. I mean, you look at the Clinton, I forget exactly whatever it was that to cover up the Clintons have been doing, but all the people connected to that event mysteriously, the probability of that many suicides and deaths, whatever related, it's insane. It's 1 out of a million chance.
Yeah, and the thing with the Clintons too is, like, nothing about their story is real. I mean, Chelsea's not even Bill's daughter. Apparently, you want to get really weird about Hillary Clinton. Apparently, look at it, like, you can go on DuckDuckGo and say Hillary Rodham Clinton, high school to college, just see what comes up. Like, really? There's some weird. It is really, really out there, and apparently everything about Bill Clinton in particular is just totally. It's like Obama. It's like total made up fiction.
Yeah,
and clearly the CIA was behind the Clintons, because if you do any kind of research, and that's why they've been
same with Obama. I mean, it's obvious.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, with Obama, it's all you have to do is look at Lolo Soetoro.
Yes,
and it's over.
Yeah. I don't know. They're going to try to wipe that away from history. I'm surprised they haven't gotten rid of all the evidence, but it's out there.
It's out there.
And I was going to say, every president, isn't the best president. They've all done things that we don't like and could disagree with, for sure. And I'll just say about JFK, I mean, as a modern president still in modern times, like, I look at him as, I think he was one of the greatest. He's the best. He's my favorite because I didn't care what political party he was involved with. When I see what he was trying to do, it wasn't towards because I'm a liberal, this is what I'm doing, or because I'm Republican, this is what I'm doing. He was like, I'm doing this because it's the best for the country. It's the best for humanity to do this. So I'm doing it. Yeah. And so that's what he stood for. And I so appreciate what he was trying to do. And that just tells you what happens when you try to act in such a sincere way, in such a authentic way. And guess what the consequence is? There's going to be those people who really hold power that are going to take care of it. And
there's a reality, that's so hidden from us.